Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it.
Is this going on the free channel or the...
This is on the free channel. It's an episode.
Oh, no.
It's one of the episodes.
Oh, man.
It's one of the episodes.
I got to brush up on my advertiser then. I think I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Well, I can help you out if
yeah. Well,
be.
The first one will be rough.
Will it?
Yeah. I can guess. Just say the word. Yeah.
So, can I ask you a question before we continue? Now that we're 30 seconds into the podcast.
Yes, you can.
Our guest keeps laughing in the background.
Well,
he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be in the green room.
Green room. The shrimp scared him out.
Is this the first podcast since the last podcast?
Oh, every time you ask me that question, it's always the same answer. It is.
Well, it's not it's not an easy question to answer. There's a lot.
No. After a while, you get used to it.
There's a lot of calculations, a lot of ciphering. There's a lot of ciphering to figure out if it's the first podcast since the last podcast. What's new in your life? Anything?
Oh, let's see.
There's always something new in your life.
I had a derailment on the train the other day.
Oh, really? Like on the live steamers?
Yeah, I got my foot caught.
You got your foot caught?
Yeah.
So the reason they had a derailment is because of you?
No.
I thought you were the safety officer.
I am the safety officer.
So the safety officer got his foot under a car?
Yeah, it's one of the mistakes that I told everybody not to make is if you're going to put your foot down when the train is trying to stop, don't put it near the front of the car. Put it behind the truck. So
were you
I got
on
it
the
stuck
car?
I was the engineer.
And you put your feet down before you come to a stop?
No, I was putting it was derailing at the same time. So that's the first gut reaction you do is you put you try to shut the locomotive down at the same time.
I thought you were the safety officer.
I am the safety officer.
Well, you don't want to be putting your feet down when there's a moving train.
Well, it wasn't moving very fast. It was about less than 2 miles an hour.
Because of the radar gun?
Yeah, I was holding the radar gun and running the locomotive at the same time.
So, was it like cars with people on it?
It's a wheel car train. So it's the locomotive, one car, the wheelchair car, and then another car for the for three people. I think
the people accompanying the wheelchair car.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you dumped somebody in a wheelchair onto?
No. That was the engineer's car that got derailed.
Or you're sitting on a car behind the locomotive.
I was sitting behind the locomotive, and it's a battery operated, so it's got the cable with a box with a rheostat on it, and it was a very confusing moment because there was a lot of movement in the yard. There was 2 steam engines and one of the trains going out, and I was coming up with the wheelchair car train, and it got really hectic and stopping and going, and I started to pull out, and the engineer's car, the front truck jumped the track somehow.
And then you put your foot under it.
Oh, well, I put my foot down because I didn't want to fall off. And unfortunately, where I put my foot the car decided to go in that direction. So,
are you making this stuff up?
No, I'm not making it up. My foot's still swollen.
Is it?
I'm not making it up.
It must have hurt then, did it?
Oh, it hurt. It hurt. Yeah. It's like one of those things where your life goes in front of you. Like.
Because
I've had a couple of situations like that. Am I going to lose a foot or am I going to lose a leg or whatever? But
how is that possible if you're the safety officer? You know what? Here's something that you don't ever want to hear a safety officer saying. Well, I've had a few incidents where I might have lost a foot or a leg.
Yeah. Well,
aren't you the guy that never ever comes even close to having a problem? That's what the safety officer.
I try not to.
Well, how did you almost lose a foot or a leg? Same thing, derailing cars?
Well, no, I'm just saying my foot was under it. If the train kept going, I would have been in big trouble. I was lucky because I wasn't doing what I tell everybody not to do, is wear sneakers or sandals or anything like that. I wear my boots from when I had the fire department.
Oh, so you were wearing your safety boots.
Steel-toed shoes.
Well, at least you were doing that much.
Yeah. Well, because I know that if my foot comes down on the track for some reason, hopefully it's the steel-toed is going to protect it. And it did.
I hope our guest isn't hearing any of this.
Oh.
Because if he is, he'd be like probably left the studio by now. Probably left the building and in his car and driving away by now.
But the big news is the steam engine, the H10, was operating.
Is that, what's an H? Okay.
H10. It's a Pennsylvania steam engine.
And what was that other one I saw?
That's the American in front.
So you already had an operating steam engine?
No, that was the one of the new members, or he's an old member that came back. Steve Arnold. He built continued the build of an American locomotive. Beautiful locomotive with a caboose that's complete scaled interior with everything you can think of inside a caboose.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was in the front, and he was applying his brakes through the whole time. We didn't know that until after they did it was a triple header, so everybody understands what's going on. So the American was in the front, and it was literally being pushed by the H10. And the H10, which is a Pennsylvania locomotive that was built by Wayne Gottschall out of Pennsylvania, was in the middle. And then our Treasure's UP diesel, I forget what type it is, but it's battery operated. It was bringing up the rear with 4 or 5 cars with people on it.
Wow.
So the H10 was literally pushing the Atlantic and pulling the locomotive, or pulling the train with the passengers on it. So
why did the guy have the brakes on? Was that by accident?
No, I think he was trying to see how powerful the H10 was.
Oh, okay.
And the H10 was literally pushing him. So it was pretty neat. And I put the video up on the fans page.
I saw that. That was pretty cool, actually.
So,
and you didn't manage to get your foot run over in that one?
I stayed away from the track. I would not. That engine is a workhorse, and it's something that not everybody's going to get to operate, because you have to pay attention. That is, you'll definitely get burned if you're not careful. And we figured anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 pounds.
You know who we got to get up there to operate it for you?
Who?
Mike May.
Oh yeah,
he could operate it.
I don't know. He does coal, doesn't he? Oh no, they do oil. They do oil now. They don't do coal anymore.
What difference does that make?
The different fuels. The locomotives operate differently. This is the first propane locomotive that Wayne has built.
Oh, it's a propane locomotive?
Yeah, it's propane. Coal is sort of hard to get out here, and also it's because of fire hazard. So everything is, if we go to Train Mountain, for example, we'd have to have propane or battery or gasoline. So,
well, couldn't you carry propane with you?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. So if you went to Train Mountain, you'd use the propane you carried with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So what does it run on? Just propane, or does
just propane? Just propane. But there is a guy down in California that has one that has propane and coal, and you take the propane burners out, I guess, to operate it.
I found a picture on the Rogue Valley Times from April.
Yeah.
And there's an old guy with a beard behind the Southern Pacific engine and with a train full of people.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Guy with a beard.
Yeah, you have a beard.
Yeah, I have a beard. I'm trying to think. It might be me.
It kind of looks like you. Kind of got that slouched over look, you know.
You know what year it was from?
Yeah, it's April 5th, 2023.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got a picture of it?
I do. I got it right here. I'm looking at it. But we're not going to be showing people because this is audio. All right.
But
anyways, never mind. It's on the Medford Railroad Park Facebook page.
Oh, okay. Let me go look.
Yeah, from April 5th. All right. Have you ever heard of East Coast Circuits?
Yes, I have.
These guys make fabulous stuff. And we're going to talk to a fellow named Neil Maltz Multz or Z, depending on where you're from, what country you're from. And he's going to tell us all about East Coast circuits. And I got lots of questions about East Coast circuits.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I've got some questions, yeah.
All right.
I have to have them. I'm the only one here with you.
Can you go get Neil out of the green room?
I can go get Neil.
I'm here.
Neil, come on up.
You're very light on your feet, Kelly.
Oh, it's on one foot.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's right. The other one's injured, right?
Yeah.
Neil, before we go on, I'm going to apologize for whatever happens in the podcast.
No worries. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, okay. Nobody's listening anyway. So
Yeah,
okay.
really.
So, okay, we have 1,000 questions about East Coast circuits, but who are you in relation to East Coast circuits, Neil?
So I'm the business manager for East Coast Circuits. I take care of all the advertising, manage the train shows that we go to, take care of all customer billings, inquiries, work with the dealers, and basically make sure that Sammy and the crew up there get things done. And it's not easy, but you know what? It's a fun thing because I've been in the hobby for a long, long time. So for me, this is just a nice thing to do in my retirement time.
So how many guys are involved with East Coast circuits?
Well, the owner of the company, Sammy Betancourt, he's up in Rhode Island. He actually got together with this other gentleman that he went to tech school with named Jorge, and they came up with some ideas. And there's a total of about a half a dozen people that are in and out of the shop at any given time. And I don't know if you remember, there was used to be a forum online called trainlife.com. Had nothing to do with the last trainlife.com website. It was just basically a forum where you could post pictures and talk to other model railroaders and everything. And it was a public chat. And we were talking about just getting all the guys from Train Life together and meeting up at the Amherst Train Show. And that was back in 2013. And Sammy was a young guy. And normally I don't speak to the younger, quote unquote, kids, because at the time Sammy was probably around 18 or so. But I figured I'd go meet whoever showed up. And so I met with Sam, and he was telling me that he had this idea about coming out with a circuit. I said, okay, sounds interesting. And he was telling me his ideas, and I'm listening to him talk, and I'm saying to myself, you know what? This is not your typical, young teenage model railroader. This is someone who has a really good head on his shoulders. So we talked some more, and I said, you know what? Let me help you get the business started, because I've had a background in sales for decades. And we put 2 and 2 together, and the first item we ever came out with was a circuit, and it was for an antenna, like on a building or on a radio tower. And he just started coming up with some other ideas. And the first thing that we came out with in the line of vehicles was a lighted police car, and it had a battery in it. And it was fairly successful, except every time you had to change the battery, you got to take the car apart and everything. And there was a button, and it really wasn't durable. So then...
So hang on a minute. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. We got lots of questions,
I know. I'm just trying to give you the background.
Well, okay. So I didn't even realize you guys made circuits until you said it there. And I'm on the website, and I look at it, click on circuits. So there's all these circuits that you can buy. Like there's a crossing signal circuit, and it's $25.
Right. Most of our circuits are $25. We have one add-on circuit that works. It's called our traffic light preemption circuit. That works in conjunction with the crossing signal circuits. So if you have an intersection where there's a traffic light or two and it crosses the railroad tracks, when the train approaches, besides the crossbucks and lights flashing, it changes the traffic lights from whatever it was on green on one lane and red on the other, it makes them all red, as it would on a real railroad.
Okay, so you're talking like that intersection in Sanford, just east of the yard there in Sanford, Florida, where I go across all the time, and it's like they have this. You turn on and you sit back because the tracks go between you and the car that the lights control, that the traffic lights controlling,
Right.
the road that the traffic lights controlling. So then when the train comes, it changes the whole signal array basically to suit the train and the drop and the
Right.
crossing signals and everything.
Yeah, it protects the drivers.
Yeah, protects the drivers, especially the dumb ones.
Oh, there's a lot of them in Florida.
There's a few.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have all these. So the first thing you discovered from what'd you say his name was? Jorge?
Well, Sam owns the company. Yeah, and Jorge is our electronics guru. He's the one that writes all the codes and designs all of our circuits.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we do is we come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And excuse me, we discuss it, and then we say, okay, is this something that we could, we can design as far as whether it's a circuit board or the microchips, and that's Jorge's forte. I mean, this young man is incredible. I've seen him design circuits. I mean, you've seen some of the custom lighted vehicles that we have on our website and on our Facebook page, and it just it's amazing what he does.
Right. Yeah.
So to give you an example.
So Jorge owns the company?
No, Sam owns the company.
Sammy owns the company.
Yep.
Jorge, but how did you guys meet Jorge?
Oh, Sammy and Jorge went back to technical school. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. They were in a technical school class together, and the two of them actually came up with it. But I mean, Jorge's a great. He writes the codes. He designs, helps Sam, and he's not into model trains.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's not. We've sat in. We've had meetings after a trade show, and we've come up with ideas. And Sam and I would be talking, and Jorge would be there writing notes and saying, "Okay, what do you think about this?" And it's like, "Okay, this could work."
But Sammy and you guys, both of you met on the train life because you're both model railroaders.
Correct.
All right. Cool.
And we went to our first show was in Marlborough, Massachusetts in December 2014. And a lot of the guys have seen the stuff because we had been talking to some of the model railroad clubs up in the New England area, like the Amherst Model Railway Society. And I guess John Sacadati, I think he's the president or is in charge of trade shows. He says,
he's the guy in charge of the Springfield.
Yep. He comes up to me and says, "Neil, I want you at the January show," and that was for the January 2015 show. I says, "Well, we're not ready." I says, we need some time. We don't have enough product made yet, and if we're gonna, go to a show, we want to go out with our best foot forward. So we signed up for the January 2016 show, and prior to the show, we're back at the Marlborough show again, and he comes over to me. He goes, "Neil," he says, "I got your table set up." I says, "Okay." He says, quote unquote, "You're on Broadway," meaning that we were in the Better Living Center building, which is a lot of the manufacturers, and we had a prime location. And to this day, we're in the same location. We're right across. We were right across from Intermountain, but they moved. But we were there for many years, and it's just it's a great venue for us. We get a lot of business there. But getting back to the circuits and the vehicles, as Sam and Jorge got better at what they were doing, that's when we started adding other vehicles into the line. So we came out with police cars, a lot of the trucks from like River Point Station, some from Atlas when Atlas had some Dodge Chargers. And Walters, we do a lot of the Walters trucks in both their emergency and construction vehicles. And I mean, you may not see some of the emergency equipment on the site, but we've got it on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channels. We've got some of the Walters, like the fire trucks. We've done the Hazard.
What's the YouTube channel?
It's East Coast Circuits. But I think you'll see some better pictures on the Facebook page.
All right. What's the Facebook page?
It's East Coast Circuits.
So that's
That's easy.
Yeah.
How was that, Kelly? All right.
That's easy.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. Yeah. Don't talk too fast because it's hard for him to keep up.
I'm on the East Coast.
Okay, so it's actually, well, maybe not. I'm trying to look. I'm trying to find it. So no, hang on.
There it is. I got it.
Did you find it? Did you find
on
the
the
East
Facebook?
Coast?
Yeah.
When I typed in East Coast Circuits, I keep getting everybody else but East Coast Circuit.
Scroll down. I just say East
okay,
Coast.
there.
Yeah,
no, that's
down,
Model. No, I got Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine, Just Trains, Douglas Peterson, East Coast Circuits. I'm not getting. Oh, there it is. Wow. No,
you got it.
No, I haven't gotten any. I haven't gotten any. I don't have that. I don't have that page. Wow. Why is it so hard to find these?
It's all one word. East Coast Circuits.
On YouTube, it's all one word?
Yes. When you search Facebook and if you put in East Coast Circuits, it's one word. It should come up.
I'm getting a bunch of people with their videos about East Coast Circuits. This is some of the best part of the podcast where I'm working the internet. You know what we need. You know what we need now, don't you, Kelly?
Yeah.
What? Have you ever listened to the podcast, Kelly?
Yeah. Oh, so you need if you're searching, we need elevator music. I thought you were going to throw in something else. That's all right.
Oh yeah. We're 22 minutes. We're 22 minutes in, and we haven't even mentioned our sponsor yet.
That's right.
Rapido Trains.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to Model Railroad Fun.
See, I say Rapido Trains.
Oh, that's right. And I say
your fast track to Model Railroad Fun.
Yes, see, I told you the first time I do this, it will be
Rapido Trains, your fast track to Model Railroad Fun.
Because that's why you guys don't want me to do things, because it always screw it up.
Yeah. Oh, see, now you just sent me the link to the Facebook page, Neil, but I was looking for the link. I was looking for it on YouTube.
On YouTube? Okay. Yeah. We'll get you that one as well.
Yeah, give me that one as well, will you?
Sure.
Now you're going to have to slow down, Neil, because we have questions.
Oh, man.
No problem.
Kelly will just have endless amounts of questions. How come all the other podcasts sound better than ours, Kelly?
I don't think they do.
We just sound like a couple of screw-ups.
No, I think we sound like we're either on the back porch or at a hobby shop and having a grand old time. And the audio is good, too.
The audio is good. We work hard on our audio. Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to Model Railroad Fun.
There you
Railroading. Go. Is it a railroad or railroading?
Railroading fun. Your fast track to Model Railroad. Your fast track to Model Railroad Fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
And of course, we're going to hear the jingles. Oh, yeah, we love the jingles. Yeah, I love the jingles.
Jingles are great. Oh. That's because of, you know what I thought of the other day? Kelly, you're going to be interested in this. And seeing as how you designated yourself as the official head of the superfan department. You know what I thought of the other day?
What's that?
If you're a guy that volunteers, if you're a guy that's in the Dallas Symphony Orchestra and you volunteer to make jingles for the podcast at no expense, or like at no expense for the podcast, doesn't that automatically, and they turn out spectacular, doesn't that automatically make you a super fan?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it would be. Yeah, especially their fan. They're all over the world now.
Yeah, so bring it up at the next meeting, will you?
The next meeting, we'll bring it up. What do we do on the fans page?
Sure, bring it up on the fans next time we do a fans podcast.
Okay, we'll bring it up.
Yeah, you bring it up. Write it down.
I got it.
Okay.
All right. So there's not that many on the YouTube channel, but if you just put into YouTube East Coast Circuits, I mean, you're going to get a lot of our...
I know. I get a lot. I get a lot of other people's. A lot of other people.
Okay, so on our East Coast Circuits page on YouTube, There's just a handful of videos.
Okay.
The Facebook page has a lot of videos, a lot of photos. I don't know when the last time you were on there, but I put on, actually Sam put on last week something that you and I were talking about when we were testing the equipment, testing
Right.
the headset. So, we can if you look at our website, the homepage,
Yep.
and I can just go through a bunch of items
Well,
that's on
just
there. If you look on vehicles,
settle down. I'm looking right now. Hey, I'm looking at Kelly right now.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Rapido's Chevy.
Yeah.
Their Chevy Biscayne or Bel Air, whatever it is, their 70s version of it from Rapido Trains.
Your fast tracks to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
Track, not tracks.
Track. I gotta get the S out of there. Sorry.
Someday, Neil, we'll be professional.
Yes, we definitely will.
oh, then that takes the fun away from it.
So, okay, now you said there's like 6 guys involved that come in and out. Are these all part-time laborers that help to build these things?
Both. We have both. We have full-timers, part-timers.
You got full-time guys, so is Sammy? Is this his way of how he makes a living?
No, Sammy does has another full-time job, and we've got Jorge there, who's a full-timer, and a few other part-timers that go in and out and everything that help out when we need it. See, it's not just lighting the vehicles and making the circuits. We have a lot of other things that we do. We're also we've done work for a lot of other model train manufacturers. So we've done some OEM work for a few companies.
OEM work?
Yeah, that means a manufacturer will source something out and have it built for them.
Oh, okay.
So we do. You want to call it third party work for a lack of a better term. And we'll do work. So in the past, we've done and we still do work for NJ International.
Okay.
We make their light towers and we do some of their signals for them. For Jack.
Sure.
I don't know if you know Jack LaRussa from NJ International. I mean,
I know
Jack
of him. I know of him.
Yeah, Jack and I go back 50 years.
Okay.
And for a few other manufacturers, we've done some
so as
LEDs.
Right. So as well as doing your own stuff, you're doing third-party stuff for other manufacturers.
Correct.
But why is Sammy not working at it full time?
Oh, believe me, Sammy's got his full-time job. Plus, he puts in a lot of hours.
I bet.
At the shop. Yeah, we have a 1,400 square foot location in Warwick. He puts in his time.
Well, I'm sure he does. I don't doubt that for a minute.
Yeah.
So you guys have a 1,400 square foot unit or something somewhere where you guys actually work out of.
Absolutely.
East Coast Circuits is like a going concern.
Yeah.
Like what? We're not a big company, but we're growing. We're in a very niche market. I mean, if you think about the model railroad hobby in general, it is compared to other hobbies out there. It's a nice hobby. It's a small hobby, but Sam and Jorge have developed some great stuff, and it's a niche hobby. And what we do there's other people. You can go online and see people that are lighting up emergency vehicles and things like that. And it's nice, and those guys do great work. When we light up vehicles, we try to light them up as prototypically as possible. So we search the internet for videos and everything. Give you an example. We do the Walters Scene Master fire trucks. They have a hazmat, they have a pumper, and they have a ladder, and they also do an ambulance. So I was on another show. I don't know if you want me to mention it, but they had one of.
There's other shows.
It wasn't a podcast. It wasn't a podcast. It was a video show, and one of the guys.
What was it?
I was on Ken Patterson's What's Neat This Week show.
Ken Patterson. We love Ken Patterson.
Yeah. Ken.
How can you not like Ken Patterson?
Yeah. Really. Ken's a great guy. Very, very, very funny. It was interesting when I was on the show because he likes to use his pencil to point things, and and I brought one of those long like skewers to point out the features on the fire truck. So he kept looking at me and said, "You want the pencil?" I said, "No." But so we had the pumper truck on there. I had sent it to Ken ahead of time, and Campbell Rice was sitting with him. And Campbell's a retired firefighter, and he said that our pumper truck was lit up 100% to some fire department standard, which which is great, and that's what we do.
Kelly, you know what we should have done tonight?
What's that?
You're gonna be kicking yourself when you hear with this idea I came up with. But you know what we should have done tonight with a show where there's pumper trucks and fire trucks and stuff.
Yep.
We should have had a fireman on with us.
Oh, wonder. You mean like a retired one?
Sure, like a guy like a retired, like a one from say Westport, Connecticut.
Connecticut, yeah, 31 years.
Yeah,
so I'm very impressed looking at some of them. It's amazing.
So our man Kelly here, Neil, was a firefighter in Connecticut for 31 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he's been impressed with this stuff for a while now. So when did you start doing the vehicles?
We just started doing the vehicles in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so who builds the vehicle? Like who? It seems like it would take forever to do one of these vehicles.
So what happens is we take a vehicle, and before we even do anything, certain vehicles we can't do because either they have rivets on the bottom, or the headlights and taillights are painted on metal. And Sammy learned the hard way after trying to drill out some of those metal headlight areas there and going through about 25, 30 drill bits that we just can't do it because then it becomes too expensive. So vehicles from Bush, Walthers, Weeking, Burkina, Rapido, Walthers Scene Master, and a host of others, as long as it's plastic and there's no rivets on the bottom, for the most part, we can light them up depending on what the consumer wants or what we do. So you saw a few on the webpage there. I think we've got the police. Yeah, so there's a video of the Rapido police car, the black and white, and then we have the Burkina Highway Patrol. So we take them apart and we see how many LEDs we can install in it, and depending on what the customer wants, we'll either light them up to their specifications, or if we're selling them on the site like you see now, we light them up as prototypically as possible, whether it's got red lights, red and blue. It's interesting that when we do some police cars, people like from Massachusetts, now Massachusetts uses all blue lights, so of course they want all the blinking lights in blue. I'm sure, Kelly, you've seen those the Mass State Police.
Yep.
So we'll do that as long as the consumer tells us ahead of time what they want.
So, how much do these things sell? Like, how much does one of these pumper trucks sell for?
So on the site right now, I think there's a couple of Athearn pumper trucks. They go for $95.
And how much is the truck without lights?
Depends who you buy it from. If it's
roughly.
the Athearns, the MSRP is like I think $37 now. Walthers Scene Master trucks are $20.
So for just so the pumper trucks for just an extra $60, you got all these lights in it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's crazy.
And what's nice about them is they all run on either 9 to 12 volt DC or a 9-volt battery. And we tell people that when you can test it out, when you hook it up this way, because the wires we use anywhere between 34 and 36 gauge magnet wire, really, really thin wire, and they're color coded, red and green. So when the customer looks at it, they can test it with a battery or hook up to their wall wart or power supply, and we tell them if it doesn't light one way, just flip the wires or flip the positive and negative, and they light up.
So you can just plug it into one of those wall wart things that provides 9 or 12 volt power.
9 to 12 volts, correct. The one thing which we tell consumers not to use is the variable DC on a train power pack or even the fixed DC on a train power pack, because most of the times it's putting out more than 12 volts despite what it says, and anything more than 12 volts, you'll just destroy the circuit inside, and of course you'll pop the LEDs.
So, how many times have customers done that and sent them back?
No, you know what? I don't think we've had that many. Maybe a handful, because a lot of the people, they see the vehicles, and we give instructions with it. We give very explicit instructions with each vehicle that we sell, especially at the shows. We demonstrate them at the shows, so that when a customer buys them, we show them exactly it's on a display. We'll take it off the display, and we actually take the battery to it and show them, see, this is how you hook it up, and if not, we tell them, you can always get those power supplies, which we sell at the shows, or on our site. And we try to make it as easy as possible. And the one thing that we try to do as best as we can is keep everything affordable.
Well, that's for sure. $95 for all this, it seems. Yeah. It seems ridiculously affordable to me personally.
Yeah, like I said, we're not, like the major manufacturers. We have expenses just like everyone else. But Sammy's in the hobby, as well as I and a couple of others that work with us and help us out and everything. So we know what the business is, and we know what the customers want. And for the most part, if you see some of our police cars, like the Dodge Chargers, they're not on the site, but we were lighting those things up anywhere from $95 to $100 that had headlights, taillights. The ones with the push bumpers went for a few dollars more, because you had the grill lights on them. And then we started getting fancy with them. One of our dealers says, "Well, can't you put running board lights on them, like on the Ford Expeditions?" And those were the ones that River Point Station did. So they're not on the site. I don't know if you're going to go look for it, but
yeah, I do. I'm looking for everything.
Okay, Lionel, are you looking at the O gauge ones, the gallery?
Yeah, I've seen those ones.
Yeah, do you recognize any of those cars?
Oh yeah, I recognize I recognize the Pennsylvania ones. I've probably been stopped by that car.
Oh boy.
Don't worry about it, Sammy. I'm used to it.
It's brush with the law.
Yeah.
All right, so Lionel, I'm gonna send you this link.
Oh, another link.
Did I get out of my?
Here comes another link.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, because I'm no good at operating computers.
Yeah.
So how many of these, like the Athern fire truck, where was it? Where am I? Back to the vehicles again. Like how many of these would you guys buy? Like this one, my thing is frozen up here. Come on. Oh, there it goes. How many of this? Why is okay? What'd you do to my computer? The Chicago fire truck, the Ford C fire truck. How many of those would you guys buy?
It depends on what's available for us. We could buy anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen at a time, because don't forget there's a lot of other fire departments out there.
Right.
We'll buy a little bit of each, and some for the site, and then some for the shows.
You guys must walk away at Springfield. You guys must sell everything that you bring.
Pretty much. First of all, I just sent you another email. You could take a look at the expedition I was talking about. But when we go to the shows, people know us. We expanded. I think it was in maybe 2017. We went from 2 tables that was right on the aisle at Springfield, and we took a third table and made the area into the shape of a U. So what we've done is we brought the customers into our section, because they would walk by the front of the tables and it would be so crowded because people knew us and people saw flashing lights that a lot of people were walking away. Well, we didn't want that. So we opened up the area, and now all the people, they walk into our section, and you can still walk up and down the aisle. This past January show, we had brought a lot of vehicles to the show. Sam needed more time to bring down more vehicles. I had already had my possession, I don't know, about maybe 35, 40 vehicles. And I have another guy who lives near me in New Jersey. And this guy, John, he helps me set up the shows. He does all the shows with me wherever they are. And we set everything up. Saturday morning, the show opens up at 9 a.m. and we've already got about a half a dozen people in the booth. What do you have new? This and that. So they're seeing things and people are buying some stuff. And we said, listen, there's a lot more vehicles coming down at about, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I said, the crew is on their way. Sam gets there at like 10:30 and he's got all the vehicles in a tray, not even packaged. Okay. So if you can envision when the supermarket opens up at 6:30 and everybody runs to the produce section and they're picking through all the vegetables like it's the end of time.
Yeah.
That's what this tray, I would say in probably 20 minutes, we had gone through, I don't know, 15 vehicles that were sold. People were just picking things. I want this. I want that. It's really, nice to see because we've developed this following.
Well, not only have you developed a following, you've developed a spectacular product.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Thank you.
It's not a following as much as it's one of those things that you got to have whether you need it or not.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
But where I get confused, it's like I'm thinking to myself, like I don't know, the 85, the fire chief wagon, the Impala wagon.
Yep.
Like do you buy those like in the hundreds or something or what?
Certain vehicles we buy in the hundreds. Okay. Others, we'll buy, depending on what we get calls from consumers. Now, the Rapido vehicles, we had never lit them up before. And at the National Train Show in Collinsville last year, Mike Buddy from, Ken Patterson's show comes over to us and says, can you light these up? So Sam is sitting there and he's looking at him and he says, yeah, we'll try, we'll give it a shot. We don't know how many we can light up. So long story short, by the time we got to it, because our lead time is like 120 days, depending on the time of the year. We lit him up for Mike, sent it up to him, and he had it on Ken's show, and they came out great. They really did.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the one I found it on YouTube, the Rapido car, and it's like spectacular. But how long would it take somebody to light up one of these cars? How long would it take?
Well, it depends on how many lights have to go in there. It could take anywhere, from hour and a half to 2 hours. Sometimes, depending on what we put into it, it could take maybe more. And that's how we dictate the price. Labor, the parts and everything. There's depending on who has their hands on it. Because we've got 2-3 guys can be working on cars, different parts. So one guy could be like Jorge could be designing the chips and getting all them set. We have another guy there that works on LEDs. He does nothing but preps the LEDs for installation. And then, there's Sam who puts the final touches, seals them up, polishes the cars, and, we package them. We all put a hand, have a hand in it.
Were you going to ask?
Yeah, I was going to ask a question. Neil,
hang on. We're only 45. We're only 45 minutes in, and you're asking a question already.
Oh, I've got a lot of questions.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah. So you have a do-it-yourself zone on the website.
Yes.
Can a modeler purchase your circuit for the LED lights and put it in their own vehicle?
No, and the reason we don't sell them separately is a couple of reasons. Number one, each circuit is designed for a specific vehicle. So the circuit that goes into a Dodge Charger can't go into a fire truck because the amount of lights. Number two, a lot of people who think they're good at doing it, and there are a lot of people out there that are. Some really can't. So
right.
So we'll have consumers send us vehicles. And we'll light them up, and then what we do is before we ship it back to them, we send them a video for their approval.
Wow.
If they like it, they don't like it.
And how much does that cost? Like this seems like I know I've said this before, and this is not a niche hobby, Neil. I don't care what you say. You know what I think about the hobby, Neil? Here's what I think about the hobby. I think the hobby is going to explode, and we're all going to be covered in model railroad goo. That's what I think about the hobby.
I'm going to have to put my glasses back on then because I want to be able to see what I'm doing from all that goo.
Who puts the LEDs? Let's just talk about the Rapido squad car. Because who puts the LEDs in them?
Sam.
So he does all of these cars?
Yes, you have to understand something. We've been at this, and Sammy's been at it, or they've been at it for so many years. They've got it down to a science.
No, I think you need to understand something. I think you need to understand that the people, when they see these things, are just going, they're gobsmacked, and they're going, holy moly. Like, I look at them, and I'm thinking, these are beyond spectacular. And I think most people haven't been exposed to these. And these cars are beyond spectacular. What you guys do to them,
well,
it's fantastic. And it's one guy doing all the LED lights.
There's one guy that does the installation. There's a guy that does prepping, and
So do you have a factory? Do you have a factory with like child labor in there or something?
No.
Where you got all these little kids, all these 12-year-old kids putting lights in these. I find it very hard to believe. Sammy, if you're listening to me, I am humbled by what you do, sir. This is spectacular. This is beyond spectacular.
Thank you. I will let him know.
Well, you don't think he'll listen?
Not tonight. He's Sam is in the shop. We have a show coming up in
August, right?
2 weeks. Well, we have 3 shows coming up.
Wow.
We found a little bit of a niche market, so to speak. I know you don't like that word niche, Lionel. So a little specialized market. There's a fire department show. Kelly, maybe you're familiar with it. Up in Warwick, Rhode Island, there's a big fireman show. They have all the fire apparatus there. So we were invited to go to the show. So on July 15th. Yeah.
Do you guys have any idea what you're doing here? Like, I mean,
you know what, Lionel, you know what this sounds like? It sounds like reminiscent of Iowa scale engineering. Should I only make 50 of them?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, these things are so spectacular. It's like, the way you're just, and I'm like, one guy is doing all these lights. It's like, this can't even be possible.
There's a few guys. We crank them out. Again, when you've done something so many times, for many years, you get good at it, and it becomes repetitive. It's the first, when you do that first vehicle, that's the one
that's hard to do.
That's hard to do. Like the Rapido is you have to also, if you've never taken one apart, you've got to be careful. And we'll talk about the other vehicles that I showed you a week or two ago when we were doing this test. But you've got to be careful on how you take them apart, because like any other plastic model, they've got small parts and they're fragile. And believe me, Sam has had his has messed up a couple vehicles here and there. We take him to a show, and unfortunately, I've dropped one, and it gets a little nick on it or a scratch. But then what we do is we'll polish it up and we'll sell it as a blem, and we take those to the shows. They never make the site. We take them to the shows because we have a lot of our regulars that come to the show. And we'll say, okay, I've got this. It's a cosmetic blem, or we'll put it on display.
That's real. That's realistic.
Yes, it is. But you know what? You can't confuse or fake out the customer. We're always very transparent. We're very honest with the customers, and they appreciate it.
Well, I understand that. But Kelly.
You sell them for the price that you're selling them, because they have a ding or a nick, and you tell them it was backing out of the garage or backing into the garage and it got hit.
Yeah, just tell them
it's weather.
Just tell them I was driving. Just tell them I was driving it.
Well,
great.
All right, I have a question for you though. So you're saying that after doing it for 7 or 8 or 9 years, you get good at it.
Yes, they do.
So Kelly,
Yeah.
what's wrong with us?
I think we're doing really well.
I think you guys are doing great.
We've been doing it for 7 or 8 years, and we're not even close to good at it.
Well, I think we're doing really well.
You must be.
I know.
You must.
Why
be
would you
listening,
say that?
You must be listening to a different podcast than I am.
No, I listen to a lot of them to see what the temperature is out there, and I think we're doing really well.
Okay.
we may not we're definitely transparent, but we may not be as accurate.
Accuracy is really of no concern to us. $85 for this. It just seems to me like how does he get the LED? Why did he not? Why does Sammy not want to talk to me? Is he like, do you not let him out of the building or something?
He's got to make calls.
Sam does not like doing the interviews or speaking to the media and everything. He leaves that up to me, and that's fine because when we get all the tech people that come into the booth, we have people that'll walk in with a handful of vehicles, and they'll say, can you light these up? And it's like I just point them over to Sam, and then Sam will tell me, he'll say, okay, this vehicle needs 14 LEDs or needs this, and then I come up with the price.
Oh, you're the price guy.
Yes.
Well, add 10% to everything you're doing because it's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, add 20%. No, everybody's going to be mad. Go ahead, Kelly. You got another question?
I got plenty of questions. We haven't even gotten into the other stuff either. So each car or each vehicle when it's finished has a wire running from the bottom.
Bottom, it's about a 26 to 30-inch wire that comes out the bottom. This, because a lot of people, they mount them on the layout somewhere, and they've got to run wires, and we tell them that if it's not long enough, just add some more wire to it. That's what I do on my layout. I've got a few of the fire trucks on my layout, and I just added more, some more 26 gauge wire to it or 30 gauge wire to it, and took it right to a terminal.
Do you guys sell the wire?
Do we sell the wire? No.
Okay. Where would you get the wire?
The magnet wire, you can buy on eBay or like Mauser Electronics, a few other places. We buy it by the spool. Just like with the LEDs, we buy like a roll of LEDs. Let's just say red LEDs. A spool has 4,000 red LEDs on it. So we'll buy spools of red, blue, cool white, warm white, some yellow or amber LEDs, depending on what we're doing. For instance, the utility trucks, even a lot of the construction trucks, the box trucks, they get a lot of yellow LEDs.
No, I'm dizzier than a trout in a blender. Oh, yeah. So the LEDs come on a spool.
When you buy them in bulk like we do, sure.
Yeah. Right. So then Sammy has to solder wires to each individual LED.
Between Jorge and Jake and Sam, that Jake's one of our other employees there. Yeah, that's what they do. Our setup there is very unique. When they're doing all this small detail work, we've got a couple of microscopes that they use, and they can do all the work with the microscopes.
And who's Jake? Is he full time?
He's one of our part timers.
Oh, okay.
So, but he's one of the ones that works on all the LEDs, gets them prepped up for Jorge and Sammy to do their magic, as we tell everybody.
So what does Jorge have to do to the LEDs?
He'll add them to the microchip.
Okay.
And this way Sammy can install everything into the vehicle and then get them ready to go. Jorge will do a lot of the prep work on it, and then Sammy will, seal it up and everything.
So how do you get the LEDs like on these Rapido squad cars? How do you get the LEDs into the overhead, the lights on the roof and that? That looks like it'd be impossible.
Well, they take it apart. If you ask me the exact way it's done, that's way above my pay grade. I don't get involved in how they put the wires in there. I mean, basically, again, they when they first did the Rapido cars back in 2022, it was a test because we've never done them. So Sam took it apart and looked at it, and they came up with their plan, and then they put it together.
Wow!
So you guys are basically doing this for like $30 or $40 profit. or whatever.
Not,
Well, you don't want to talk about.
No.
All right, but it doesn't seem like a ton of money, because you're buying the cars in bulk, so you're getting some sort of a discount. But I mean, holy mackerel!
Parts aren't cheap. Labor,
No.
and again, Lionel, everything that we sell is we sell to the modelers to be affordable.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at our circuits, if you go look at our grade crossing circuit or the traffic light circuit, and if you go look at some of the other manufacturers out there, they're anywhere from 2 to 2.5 times the price of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and so why are you selling them so cheap? Why not sell them for more? Like, I always have this question for the smaller manufacturers. Why do model railroad manufacturers feel guilty about charging for the value of what they produce?
Well, you've got to understand something. All right, we're not a Rapido or a Walters or an Athearn. Our overhead isn't as big as theirs. If you look at one of those big manufacturers, they've got R&D teams. They've got people that have to design, packaging. Then there's things from overseas. They got to send it back and forth. They have big warehouses and everything. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration when you come up with what they call in any manufacturing business a landed cost. So so let's just talk, on the Walters Seamaster vehicles. We buy them directly from Walters. Okay.
Right.
And
thousands at a time.
Do whatever, depending on the vehicle. Yeah. Why is Lionel? Not thousands at a time, but we buy enough vehicles. Okay. And
well, I guess my question would be: I see some of these things, and it says limited quantities, lead time 14 days. I mean, I'm thinking you guys can't even keep up with the demand. Like I bet you guys just absolutely are struggling to keep up with the demand. Like you probably are going like one arm. I'm imagining poor old Sammy and Jorge are in there tied to their chairs, going like one-arm paper hangers, just trying to desperately keep up.
So the 14-day lead time, those particular vehicles that you see there, we had them in house, and we had them lit up for other shows and stuff. So those things can go out fairly quick. And again, because they've done so many of them, it doesn't take that long to program the chip. Doesn't take Jorge, because he's got files upon files on his computer that he downloads them right from the computer into the microchip. But other vehicles will announce, for instance, when we first announced the Seamaster, fire trucks, we had 60 to 90-day lead time on it. Or we've put on our website pre-orders, and we've taken pre-orders from customers. So there's so many other things that that come into consideration, and again, our overhead isn't like any other major manufacturers. We do buy certain things from China. We'll buy some components from China, and we buy them in bulk. So we could buy LEDs depending on the color. Could either be a 6-month supply, or it could be a 3-month supply. It depends on what's running in which is the hot color. Okay, and on top of that, I don't know if you were on Kelly. You said you were on our website. So we also sell LEDs directly for because a lot of consumers want to put use LEDs and install them into engines or in buildings or whatever. So they'll use our LEDs, and we take them to the shows and we sell them, and they're not that expensive. I'm sure what is it, like a 10-pack.
Yeah,
LED,
it's 10 packs and it's 4 packs depending on.
So the 10-pack of like the real small the 0603 the surface mount LEDs, we can with resistors. A pack of 10 is $12. It's got resistors in it, and if you buy it off the site, there's a small shipping charge like every other manufacturer. But again, we sell the stuff, so yes, we're making money, and it's affordable.
That's the point of being in business, is to make money.
Right. But you've been looking at the vehicles, which is great. We do the circuits. The circuits we assemble in-house. We have a pick and place machine in the back room.
A pick and
that
place? What's
a pick and place machine will take a PCB board and you program it, and it just puts all the components together, and then we run it through a heating oven so that it all the solder that's put on there just solders, heats everything up and puts into place, and a few minutes later out pops a finished circuit. Whether it's the crossing signal circuit, the traffic light circuit, the burning fire circuit, the random lighting circuit. We have a few other LEDs, circuits that we make, and we just keep pumping them out on the machine, as needed. There's no reason for us to run 60 or 70 pieces at a pop when we can run a dozen at a time. Turn on the switch, push a button, and half hour later you got a dozen circuits all ready to go.
Do these cars? Do the LEDs never burn out? Basically, do they?
No. Unless you put more than 12 volts into them,
they'll never burn out.
Right.
So Lionel, did you see the DIY zone?
Yeah.
With the cones, the lighted cones.
No, I didn't see that.
The photographers. It's on the website.
The lighted cones.
Yeah.
Holy,
go to
10
the
barrel, and then they got the lighted cone. Holy cow!
Check out the photographers. That's even better.
You guys are goofy.
Oh
yeah, the photographers.
So the photographers come two ways. They come what we call the street photographer. So let's say you have a set of buildings on a road or something, and you have people standing around. So the street photographer comes with a push button. So let's say you have visitors at your layout or whatever, and you tell people, oh, just look at the building over there. Or what we do with the shows, we tell people, or especially the kids, we say smile, and we press the button, and it starts flashing. So that's the street photographer. Our other version is the railfan photographer, and that comes with a sensor that you put in between the ties. And again, these are all for HO scale. So when the train crosses the sensor, it flashes.
Oh, man.
Queso, I know you're listening to this, buddy. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad you missed this one. He needs. You know what he needs? He needs the railfan photographer.
Queso. Oh yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah, no, one or two will do. One good.
Well, he can spread them around different parts of the layout. It's so big.
About one at a time? Like settle down. Settle down. You always go overboard. You're just like, get a bunch. No, get one. Let's see if he can get one.
You can, buy a male or a female photographer.
Yeah.
We had one lady, she came into I was doing the Edison, New Jersey show, and she came in and said, I've got to have a female photographer to go with the male photographer. So, of course we showed her what we had at the time, and, she was happy. But now you're hitting both, male and female modelers. And I'm sure you've seen that there's a lot of women in model railroading that have been coming on board. There was a whole big thing up at the Springfield show. They had their own section at the NMRA table, which was great.
They have their own special interest group now in the NMRA.
Yeah.
And here's my thought on that. If you're, what are you laughing at?
Oh, go on. Sorry.
You don't even know what I'm going to say. Do you?
I have an idea.
Okay. So here's my thought on the women in model railroading layout design or layout special interest group.
This group, yeah.
I think it's a great idea. It's an excellent idea, but I'm telling you, Neil, don't ever join it. It's women in model railroading. Guys should not be joining this special interest group because it'll end up in tears. If you want to help them, just give them some money, but don't join. If you join, you're just asking for trouble. It's women in model railroading.
No. What about women that participate in operating sessions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But don't join their groups. I'm telling you, Neil, don't ever join the ladies and women in model railroading special interest group. It's their group. If they wanted you in there, they'd say it's women and men in model special.
I mean, I know Michelle, and I know Christina Zambri. Actually, Christina is the one who introduced me to you.
There you go.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. Christina was walking around one of
Yeah,
the
that's
buildings up in
right.
Springfield, and because I've been at operating sessions where Christina's been present and everything down here in Jersey. So I said, she says, I'm in a hurry. I got to go meet Lionel. I I said, well, I says, I think I met I think either someone named Tom or it wasn't Tony Cook, because Tony Cook I know. I think Tom had interviewed me at
That's
the
right. Tom, the queso cowboy.
Cowboy.
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, that rings a bell now. Yeah, because he had done like a 5 minute interview in the booth that day. So and then I ran into you up in Springfield this past January. We were both standing waiting in line to talk to John Sack in his office there.
That's right. I
Yeah,
remember that now. Yeah.
yeah. And then you turned to me and you said, "I want you on my show." And then I gave you my card. I said, "Here, call me."
Yeah, and we finally figured it
Yep.
out. There's
Yep.
there's thousands and thousands of people to interview.
Yeah.
And then each one is more interesting than the last, and the last one is more interesting than the next one. It's just like this endless. I mean, this is a fascinating insight into East Coast circuits, which I don't know if you guys realize this, but anybody that sees this stuff just like starts drooling
Mm.
and can't barely control themselves. I mean, I can't imagine you guys can even keep up.
We do. We manage. One of the other things we do is we do a lot of the custom installations for customers, and they know that it could take 90 days to 120 days depending on the time of the year. So right now we have an inquiry guy who wants to send us a bunch of vehicles, but we've got the show up in mid-July. I've got a New Jersey local show, and then we have the National Train Show in Dallas. That there's 4 of us that go down to the show.
So now,
And
how many vehicles are you planning to take to the National Train Show in Dallas?
Probably anywhere from 80 to 100.
They'll be gone. They'll be gone.
They'll be gone, yeah.
They'll be gone in like 3 hours.
That's the wish list. So now, with that original list that Sam and I came up with, I mean, I give him the wish list based upon everything. That's just vehicles. Now you have to remember, we want to take the rail fan photographers. Circuits are easy. We just, like I said, we can send up. We can go to the show with 30, 40 circuits. And we do have a display that shows a couple of the circuits, and if not, we have videos on hand. But with the vehicles, depending on what we're taking. So now I sent you the images, or you found a link on the new PCX 87 ladder trucks and engine trucks.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? What's PC? What is PCX?
It's a company, or PCX 87 is, from what I can tell, is part of Burkina.
Yeah.
The model maker. They do HO scale and a few others, types of models. But I guess one of their divisions, you want to call it, is PCX 87. And we've just gotten hold of some of their fire trucks. I had one that I bought retail because I didn't even know these things were around. I saw it and I gave it to Sam, and he's been working on them, and we hope to have them to the show. And
how many of those did you buy? You must have bought like 500 of those, did you?
No, listen, they're not cheap. The retail on those ladder trucks, they're $50.
Yeah, $44.95 for the
engine, for the pumper. Yeah, for the Seagrave Marauder, or for the KME
right.
pumper. They came out with 2 styles. So, we'll go with a handful of vehicles.
A handful.
Yeah, like 80 to 100 vehicles. Oh, on the PCX 87, I don't know how many we'll have there yet, because there's more that'll be coming to us before the show. So we've got plenty to go there with.
I don't think you got enough.
And
over 800 people already signed up.
Yeah, man. I don't. But how many people would walk past this booth and go, "Yeah, no, I don't want that." That wouldn't be me.
Well, I think when we set up the booth, okay, our displays, all the vehicles are on mirrored glass.
So they must come in very. Yeah, I saw that. They must come in very small packages, do they not?
Oh yes, absolutely.
I'm going to buy one of these fire trucks. Actually, I should buy a police car.
Police car, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
then
should be.
And then get a Firebird and put your figure in it.
Well, what are you saying that for?
Well, then you do a scene.
Why do you think I'm always in trouble?
No, your brush is with the law because you observe the speed limit.
I feel bad. I feel bad that you think I'm always in trouble.
No, I didn't say you were in trouble. You have a good rapport with the constables,
the local constabulary,
and they always have a big smile on their face.
Yeah, well, that's true. I do.
They don't say, "Oh, it's you again."
No. Yeah. Well, I got a standing order with Joe Desmond in Hillsborough, New Jersey. How do you follow? How do you? You don't have many dealers.
No, we only have a handful of dealers because to try to again, trying to keep up with.
There you go. You see, because you can't keep up with the demand.
Well, we do a lot of it goes through the website and through the shows. And right now we're going to be adding a couple more dealers. Because these vehicles, it's tough for any dealer to really put them on their website because you've got to explain it. People see the vehicle, you see a picture. We put a video on our website, pretty much on most of the vehicles, or they can go to our Facebook page or Instagram page and see all these. A lot of our other dealers carry a lot of the accessories, the 3D printed products, the photographers, and by the end of the year on the circuits and the 3D items, they'll be able to buy that from Walters. The vehicles we limit to certain dealers.
Right, but they can't buy them from Walters with your lights in them.
No, they can't, because Walters, when they buy items, they need to have certain margins, and so do we. And I mean, I've spoken to the people at Walters, and they understand it. We buy the vehicles at a from them at a wholesale price, and they actually came into our booth in Collinsville and said, could we buy the vehicles direct? I said, not at the prices that we're buying the vehicles from you, and it's easier for us. We'd rather do the accessories and the circuits with them, and we'll take care of the vehicles. Will there be a time where we may want to sell certain vehicles direct to them? Yes. So, for instance, Walters has the license with UPS. So we do their box trucks, we do their delivery vans. So Walters, even if we wanted to, they would not take the chance of selling it, because that means even though it'd be made by East Coast Circuits, there may be an issue that, at least that's what they thought, and that's fine. We understand it, and people will find it. They'll find them on our site. They'll find them at the shows. We have a few dealers that go to the shows. And you got to remember, when a dealer does a show, they're not focusing on East Coast Circuits. They've got a lot of their money invested in engines and freight cars and DCC. So that's where their money is. How much time are they going to spend trying to explain a $9,500 vehicle to a consumer, where they can show a person an engine or a freight car? So yeah. So that that we understand. Oh, and we get a lot of referrals from dealers.
I think so.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing? So this is the first model railroad business you've been involved with, I'm assuming.
Me? Yes.
So what's surprised you the most in the 7 or 8 years you've been doing it? What's surprised you the most?
The following that we've developed over the years, and what the people, they look at these items and they really don't think twice.
Well, no, who would?
Because well, you got to understand something.
You guys have no idea what you're doing here.
Well, we do. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll keep saying, every time you say this, spectacular. I mean, we really appreciate it. The thing is, again, what we do, nobody does it like we do.
No,
like I said earlier,
close.
There are many other people that do it. You see it on Facebook or on Reddit or whatever. But when we light up a vehicle, we try to do it as prototypically as possible.
There's nobody that comes even close to what you guys are doing. I mean, you guys are like fast tracks. you guys are like fast tracks with their turnout jigs, fixtures, whatever they are. What is it? What is it? Hard
Fixtures.
part wants to call them? Yeah, hard part fixtures. Fixtures. I mean, you guys are like fast tracks. You guys are the lead. They're the leader. Tim Morrison and his all the people with the dozens and dozens of people he has working for him. Those guys are the leaders in producing that product, and you guys are.
It's a great. Their stuff is great. I mean, I don't use it, but I've seen it, and it's phenomenal.
And I mean, you guys are walking away the leaders in this, adding LEDs to emergency vehicles and cars and things like that. It's absolutely beyond spectacular. I just can't imagine that you can even keep up.
Like I said,
how many a year? How many a year do you think you've made? How many? Do you keep any track of how many vehicles in a year you may have produced?
No, I don't keep track, and to be honest with, I don't think Sam keeps track. I mean, I could go sit and figure it out, but.
Okay, you go sit and figure it out in here. Kelly and I will sit here and wait.
Not
play some elevator music.
We'll play elevator music. You go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you think it'll take? An hour or two?
Like the theme on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
No, we've done a lot of vehicles back and also certain vehicles. It depends on the availability. If you remember, I don't know. I guess it was 4 years ago. There was an abundance of Ricoh Dodge Chargers that came out. There was a distributor, American Excellence, was selling them, and unfortunately, they're no longer around. They shut down their business, I think, during COVID or whatever. But we bought hundreds upon hundreds of those police cars, and we sold some to our dealers, and we've sold some to and then the rest went to the consumers. And then we had custom, and we still find, vehicles that are no longer around. River Point Station, that was one of our big ones. Did you get the video on the Expedition with the running board lights I just sent you before? Yeah. So that vehicle, when we get our hands on them, that vehicle sells for $180. It's got 38 LEDs on it. It's got each running board lights have 10 LEDs on each side.
Yeah. I know. I can see it. I mean, it's spectacular.
Kelly, if I had your email,
who made
it? Send it to you.
Yeah, we don't like people to email Kelly directly. He gets excited. He has enough trouble keeping his feet from going underneath a rail car. So,
yeah.
Wow. He's the safety. He's the safety officer. So, what is this Expedition? Who made it?
That was made by River Point Station.
And who are they?
River Point Station, they were a manufacturer of emergency vehicles and all HO scale, and they did N scale also. They've done expeditions, they've done brush trucks, utility trucks, high rail trucks, mini pumpers, and then for whatever circumstances, the owner of River Point Station, Ron, decided to sell the business. He had enough. He wanted to retire, and we're very fortunate, at least to the industry, that they'll live on. Atlas Model Trains they bought the N scale part of River Point Station, and then late in 2022 they bought the HO scale business of River Point Station. So they're going to live on. We have a very good relationship with Atlas Trains. Both Sam and I met with the principals and the product development manager in Springfield. We gave him our wish list, and right now it's looking good. And whenever they land, we'll have plenty of vehicles at our disposal, to buy.
So they're going to kind of keep the River Point Station collection going.
Well, they're going to keep the collection going, but it's going to be under the Atlas name.
Right. Which is fine because Atlas makes great products.
Absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
They make great products, but you know whose products are really great? Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's HO, the fast track is Rapido.
Got it. Close. Almost perfect. Almost to the standard of Bruce.
Yeah, almost.
Well,
Almost.
you could tell
Tom.
Jason. You could tell Jason we like lighting up their vehicles.
Okay.
They're very nice. You know.
Have you tried the buses yet?
Oh, yeah. What about their buses? Have you tried lighting up one of them?
We lit up the Bush buses in the past.
Okay.
Well,
that didn't answer the question.
No, because their buses come lighted already.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
That was was that a trick question, Kelly?
No, that's just a Kelly question.
Listen, their buses. Their buses look very nice. You know, they have great detail on them. So we've done the Bush school buses. We've done the Herbert Promotex. We've done the school buses. So on the school bus, we do headlight, tail light, and the hazards. In addition, if you've seen the school buses on the back, the yellow lights, you know, alternately flash for about, 15, 20 seconds, and then the red lights start flashing. And then the stop sign on the end has the, pops out and has the two flashing lights on it. So we make that school bus exactly the way I said, with the headlight, tail light, the hazard yellows on the rear and the front, and then the red flashing lights, and the stop sign is out, and it's got the top and bottom has an alternating red hazard light on it.
Now, when your circuit, can you pick and choose what lights to light up on a scene that you have on your layout? Like, say, if you have a car that's sitting on the corner, it's making a right-hand turn, you just have the right-hand signal blinking?
Yes, if the customer tells us that ahead of time when we're doing the installation for them, yes.
Okay.
So when we go to a show, if you're looking at some of the vehicles, Kelly, so let's talk the box trucks, like the UPS box trucks or the refrigerated trucks. So we sell them with headlights, taillights, and hazards.
Right.
We do sell some with headlights and taillights only. The majority of them sell with the hazard lights because they've got that, flashing action on it. So that's what people like. Same thing with the construction trucks.
Right. Like the arrow to turn left or right.
Yes.
To direct traffic.
Yep. We have that. We've done that on one of our on the Bush buses where you'd have the right turn light would go on and it would stop, and even though the hazards be flashing, and then the left turn light would go on, so it would look like it's pulling away from the sidewalk after picking up passengers. So, yeah.
Now, Neil, have you stopped doing Engage?
They're so small. When River Point Station was doing the N scale vehicles, Ron would, because River Point at the time was based up in Warwick. Ron would ask Sam to come over and show him what they're doing, and they'd be looking at the CAD drawings together. And unfortunately, we just couldn't light them up. We've done some of the N scale Athearn fire trucks in the past, but again, they're far and few between.
Yeah.
Most manufacturers these days, no one is really stocking, vehicles. I mean, Athearn, they do their pre-announcements. You order, and then when they come in, you get what you can.
Yeah.
And then you don't know when they're going to run it again. I mean, right now we have orders in for their for the Athearn the Ford, I think it's the F850 Heavy Rescue. So they're doing it in a few fire department names, and they're doing I think 2 models in a police SWAT. So that's something different. So we've got them on order as well. And we'll when they come in, and we don't know when they come in. There's no ETA. I think the last time I checked the Athearn site, it said 6 months to a year.
Yeah, and
that was just recently.
Now, were you affected by the shortage in electronic components?
Everybody was. Yeah, yeah. I mean, our lead time at one point ordering certain things was almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if a customer comes to you and wants something specific, like the right turn signal on a particular vehicle, like how do you determine how much to charge them for that? Because that seems like a really custom job.
It's a matter of what Sam and Jorge think the programming time. If we don't have that developed, and fortunately we do, but the first time that we did it, it wasn't for a consumer. It was just for us to put in the vehicles. So depending on how much time it takes Jorge to figure out the code, because Jorge writes the code, we'll buy the microchips overseas, and then Jorge just programs them.
Okay. How many microchips do you buy at a time? Like a bazillion?
Close to a bazillion.
Yeah.
Whatever number that is.
Just 5 or 6 short of a bazillion.
Probably. Yeah. But we keep a steady flow on hand of those.
I find this to be. I'm really glad we got you on the podcast because it's so much fun asking you all these questions. So this PCX. So I think, I hope you're going to try to get as many of these as you can. These different PCX.
Yeah, we've got plenty on order. The unique thing with the PCX 87s is every time they announce one of the ladder trucks or the pumpers, it's a different fire station. So they all, they're all not alike. So I'm doing this from memory now, I think ladder 10 was the World Trade Center ladder. That's the one that's got the flag. Ladder 1 is the Herald Square fire station. I actually worked around the corner.
These are all trucks that were lost in 9/11, right?
No, I don't. Well, there's Brooklyn, there's Queens, there's Staten Island.
Okay.
I don't know if they were all lost. It could be. I'm not a fire department.
No. Some of them were, but
yeah, like ladder 10 was.
Right.
The World Trade Center ones. They were lost. There was a bunch of them lost.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But once they're running them, they're not coming back. Other than the ladder 10 with the flag, that one they're running because they actually cut me short on what I had ordered, and I was able to place. Very grateful to them that we were able to place another reorder. When we're getting them, I don't know.
And this is a company in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, in Germany.
In Germany.
Yeah, we buy them directly from Germany. From the distributor in Germany.
And the parent company for PCX 87 is, what did you call it?
I think it's Brekina. I'm pretty sure it is Brekina.
Okay. All right. Okay. Right.
So I mean, you can Google them. And we're talking about the fire trucks, and that's those are all great because we know people want them.
Sure.
I don't know if you've seen some of the Facebook posts, but last August we announced an item. It's in our DIY area, an arrow stick board, and that you can add to the back of like a utility truck, put at the end of the road, and it's got seven different functions. It's got
I saw that one. That's cool.
Yeah. So we had it on the back of a Walther stake bed truck, and people said, "Well, why can't I buy the truck?" So we put it on the back of the truck, and we sell the arrow stick on the truck for $120. It's not on the site right now because we pretty much sold out, and we're gearing up for the national train show. But you can see it on it's on Facebook. There's probably a link on there. Otto from Rare Model Craftsman, he did the interview with me in January, and he saw the truck on there. I don't know, Kelly, if you have our Facebook page up, you may be able to see it. Or if you go to Rare Model Craftsman magazine, and if you scroll down on all their videos, or you could see the video there, and it's got all the lighted traffic barrels and the photographers there too. So I'm sure you'll get a kick out of them.
Yeah. Wow.
Kelly gets a kick out of everything.
Yep.
So one thing that I sent you earlier tonight that we're keeping our fingers crossed that they should be ready for the National Train Show is this is our first kit. It's a 3D lighted portable light tower.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
It's got 16 LEDs on it. The first it rotates about 300 degrees, a little bit more. It'll run on 9 to 12 volt DC or AC. Mostly, we tell people it's just because if they're using vehicles now, just stick with the DC. So we're going to do it in an orange, a yellow, and a light color green. Similar to what some of the rental companies out there have. And then on the second run, we're going to be doing, and we're going to add the word police on it. And then we're going to do one in red for fire rescue.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. It's going to say fire rescue in the middle is going to have the Maltese cross. So the ones that are coming out, they're probably going to retail, the sheet you have, Lionel, the 60 to 75, probably going to be closer to $75. You know, based upon what what we're doing. But then it's all ready to go.
Make it 85. Make it $85 and go nuts. Make it $89.95. Put a few extra bucks in your pocket. People will spend it anyways. That's not going to stop them.
Well, the ones with the decals will be a little bit more, but again, and I know you're trying to count money here, but everything we're doing is affordable. We're making money on it. Believe me,
I know, but I'm always amazed how these small model railroad manufacturers always seem guilty for what they're charging, and yet, it's well worth the price. It's well worth what you're making, because for me to do it, to get the circuit and try to learn how to do it, it's much easier just to pay you the, $89.95 and go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm prepared to pay $300 for $360 for locomotive, and the amount of enjoyment you're going to get out of one of these is ridiculous. How many of these could you run off of one 9-volt battery?
We've at the show before we found these portable battery units, we could probably run on a good battery, like using like a Duracell Energizer. We could probably run 15 vehicles for 8 hours, 20 vehicles for 8 hours.
Wow!
Don't forget one of our vehicles. So let's take, for instance, the hazmat truck. It's got 34 LEDs in it. It probably draws about 32 to 34 milliamps.
Right.
And 1 amp is 1,000 milliamps. So if you think about, even with 20 vehicles, you're talking 700, 800 milliamps. And off of a good battery, not like a dollar store battery, it can run all day.
Yeah.
Which we've done. Now we have these portable power supplies.
What are those? What are those?
It's basically a unit, and it's got a lithium-ion battery in it. And our displays have connectors that we hook right into this power supply. So we'll put on a power supply, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 vehicles on one, and then we have on the other end we have the other display that handles the circuits and a few other things, and we'll put the other power supply there. At the bigger shows, because of the size of our tables, we have power supplies on each end because we have displays on both on tables on each end. You can't put all the vehicles on one table; it gets too crowded, and it takes away from the effect. People want to see police or fire, and then we'll put construction on one side or whatever. Ambulances we'll mix it in. So
I'm exhausted, Kelly. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. So Neil, what's your background?
My background, I've been in retail all my life since I was a kid, and since about the late 70s, early 80s, I was in sales. I was a buyer for a couple of department stores, another retailer, and then in the early 90s, like 1992, I became a manufacturer sales rep. So I represented many companies in the toy business, sporting goods. If my partner and I found an item that we could sell, to our customers, we did,
Wow.
And then I retired in 2018. We had enough because the retail business, changed so dramatically. And, with the advent of people doing things online and, websites and everything, if you think Sammy was working a lot of hours, my partner and I back then, we were working 8 days a week, 25 hours a day.
Yeah.
We had large customers, and at 9:00 on a Sunday night, I'd be sitting here in my office running reports because our biggest customer wanted to know what the business was for that past week at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'd spend my nights, working on spreadsheets, and that would take me a couple of hours to do. But then again, yeah. And, it's like anything. Once you figure out, how to do it, I would run a report that at first would take me 2 hours. I got that report down to 15 minutes, and it was the same type of running a report every Sunday night. So again, as you do more of it, you get better at it, and you get better.
You keep saying that, but I don't see that happening with the podcast. It's like I'm getting older, and my vocabulary's gone from 32 words to 29, and it's like it's a mess.
Listen, I think your podcast is great. I've listened to them in the past.
Oh, okay. You're the guy.
Wow. Cool. Now, are you into the hobby?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Ooh, do you have a layout?
Yep, I have a layout. I have an HO scale layout. It's a 20 by 20 foot layout, 2 levels. It's DCC. I put the room on the back of the house because this way my wife wanted me to have the hobby, and she knew where I was at night and on the weekends.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a Facebook page for it?
Oh yeah.
No, I don't. I'll post. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of doing Facebook. I do Facebook for ECC, and I have as an administrator, so I can make posts on inquiries and everything. But I don't have a personal Facebook page. I have a YouTube channel that's got some of my videos and everything.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's all one word. It's Neil's Train Layout. That's NEALS Train Layout.
Neil's Train Layout.
Yeah.
And what's the name of your railroad, or what prototype are you following?
It's a freelance. I have my own. I have my own private railroad.
Good, oh, look at this guy. He has his own private railroad. Well, la-di-da.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah. This is a good channel. Look at that. You got a million videos up here. So yeah, anybody that wants to see it, just go to Neil's Train Layout, and boom, it comes right up.
Yeah, it comes right up. I haven't posted it. Posted in a while because I've been doing work on the layout, just enhancing because I've morphed my train layout from just running trains to having operating sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I bet you're enjoying that, eh?
Oh yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. It's really enjoyable. I have them about maybe twice a month, and we have a dispatcher, which is most part me, yard master, a guy who runs the engine terminal, and 2 or 3 engineers. And the room, anything more than 6 or 7 people, it gets too crowded in there. Even though a couple of areas, I have like a 34-inch aisle and a 36-inch aisle. One area is 24-inch.
Right.
But and it's all freelance. I work up the paperwork for each person to do a job and everything, and it's fun. We have a good time. Usually have the same guys. At night, if someone doesn't show up or can't make it, I'll call someone else ahead of time and get them in. But the camaraderie is there. We have a good time. It's got signals on it, and it's all the signals pretty much are run by the dispatcher. Just like on a railroad, dispatcher
cool.
will hold up a train. A towerman will help a train, let another train
you may
pass
think
by, whatever.
You may think this is a niche hobby, but it's an awfully big niche. Everybody that's in the niche is deeply immersed.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating hobby. It really is. The people you meet and get to know and everything, and people enjoying it and having operating sessions. It's like I was saying to somebody on some podcast. It's not like we're motorcycling or custom car thing. You don't have people come in and drive your motorcycle, but people love to build layouts and have other people come in and run them.
Absolutely.
Which is an interesting part of the hobby. It really, really is.
I have to get ready because I'm part of the Garden State Division NMRA, and they're having a local meet on July 22nd. So my layout's going to be open to whatever members want to come over and see it. So I've got to. So after next week, I got to prepare the room, for people to come. Put draping around the bottom. I did it a number of years ago.
Well, I think what you meant to say is they had a meet and you were open for it. They had a meet and you were open for it because it's always
next week. Right?
Yeah, it's always next week on the AML Nation. Boy, and some of that stuff I saw on his YouTube channel, Kelly, was from Rapido Trains.
Oh, Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
I know. I added words. I'm sorry.
You added words and a big O, like as if you were surprised.
Excited. I'm excited.
I apologize, Neil.
That's okay.
I wish we could have done better for you.
Listen. I'm very honored and humbled to be on your show. I mean, this is great. I enjoy talking to you guys, and I do the same thing at the trade shows. Whoever comes in, unless we get the customers that come in and they go, okay, who's Neil or who's Sam, and then the first thing out of our mouths is like someone say, well, where's Neil? And I go, I didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I got to come and interview you next year at Springfield.
Yeah.
Then you could see all the new stuff that we're coming out with.
Absolutely. I'm going to come and do that. And our buddy John Sacerdoti, who's the show director, We all hope that he never retires from doing that show.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing better than when he was up in Springfield. He had a problem with his leg, remember?
Oh yeah, he was struggling
Yeah,
with his leg and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we plan on having John do it for the rest of his forever and ever. We're never going to let him go.
Yeah.
But if he ever does go, I think Dave Owens is the ideal guy to replace him.
Okay.
All right. That's it. We're done. We got to go. We're all out of network time. The network only gives us so much time. Kelly, can you give out our email address?
Yes, our email address, if you want to contact us with good things and bad, is modellerslife@gmail.com. I was getting ready to start your fast track. So modellerslife@gmail.com. That's modelers with one L like emergency lights, not two L's like Kelly.
They're nice. Nice. I like that. Yeah, that's a good emergency, one L like emergency vehicle.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Not two L's like Kelly. And now we have a website, A Modeler's Life. And if you didn't catch that email or understand it, and I can't imagine why you would have, you can just go to our website, amodelerslife.com, and click on the picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state. And boom, your email will, all you got to do is fill in the text and you're off to the races. And Neil, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Have you ever wanted a T-shirt with a banana on it? No, a hot dog. Why do I keep saying banana? I keep saying banana because Riley Triggs gave me a banana bag, and back in Springfield, and I keep having that in my brain. Banana. I guess maybe what we need now is a T-shirt with a banana on it.
Then it'll be perfect.
Yeah, we got to get a T-shirt with bananas too.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to send, and I thank you for that, but if you're going to send something, what I would like from you is maybe if you have like a little sign or something that says A Modeler's Life, well, we'll put it on our table at the shows.
Okay, that's cool.
Good.
No problem with that. We do that for Ken, and I'd have no problem doing that for you as well.
We'll make a sign for you, special. We'll make a special sign that says Modeler's Life interviewed East Coast circuits.
It could be on a thin cardboard or even on, printed on a paper. Send it to me flat. I'll put it in a plastic display and we'll set it up for you like that.
Perfect.
Not a problem.
I'd love it.
Just do it, 8.5 by 11 vertical, please.
Sure. 8.5 by 11. Are you writing this down, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm writing it down. I increased it to 4 by 3. Or we could send them a banner.
There you go. So have you ever wanted a T-shirt with a hot dog on it, Neil?
Sure.
Yeah, if you go to
there's a first for everything.
Yeah, if you go to Midwest Model Railroad, and their URL is midwestmodelrr.com. Now there's a dealer for you. You guys should hook up with Midwest Model Railroad. It's like walking into a real live Walther's catalog. 15,000 square foot model railroad store in Independence, Missouri, right outside of Kansas City. You guys, Stephen Atwell's the guy. He lives in New York.
Yeah. I know Steve.
Yeah, well, then you guys should hook up with Steve and let him be one of your retailers. I'm pushing for that. Anyways, if you go to their website, midwestmodelrr.com, and scroll across the navigation bar to other, and the drop-down menu will be AML's shop, and in there, boom, there is a wonderland of AML merchandise, hats, hoodies, shirts, mugs, and in there you'll find a T-shirt with a hot dog on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I get emails from Stephen all the time.
There you go.
I'm on their subscription.
You should hook up with those guys and make them one of your dealers because they are a first-class hobby shop. Yeah, they would represent you well.
Yeah. And you know Stephen personally?
I sure do.
Okay. I don't know if he's going to Dallas. I mean, I'll try to reach out to him. But if he's going to Dallas, he can look me up. I'll be at the show.
And if not,
I'll try to reach out to him after the show.
Yeah, reach out to him because it's a great shop, and their delivery there is number one in the country.
Wow,
they run a first class operation there, and they sell a lot of Rapido trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
That was perfect.
I know. See, by the end of the show, I had it down. Right? And the next time we have a podcast, I'll have to learn it all over again.
Exactly, which is the beauty of it. And the other thing we want to tell everybody is if you like this podcast, which was on the free channel, the Monday podcast, if you like this podcast and you'd like twice as much every week for just a few cents a day, you can go over to our Patreon channel, and there's a link on our website, amodelerslife.com. And for just a few cents a day, you can have twice as much podcasting week. And on our Patreon channel, Neil, that's more like we call our hometown down home channel. It's kind of like sitting on the front porch and
Antics channel.
Yeah, it's like it's our Antics channel. It's our down home channel. It's just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun. Although I can't imagine we could have more fun than we had tonight. I guess it's possible. And sometimes we talk to, we have different people on there just talking about their layouts and their life and stuff. It's quite interesting. I think that's it. I think we covered it all, haven't we, Kelly?
Yes, we did.
We did a good job. I think the three of us did a good job.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think it went, Neil?
Thank you. I think it was great. Again, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
We greatly appreciate it. And we'll do it again sometime, especially when we come out with more stuff.
Absolutely. We'll keep you. Yeah, we'll have you come back.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be an hour and 40 or 50 minutes. It can be 20 minutes, and you can just be telling people about what's happening in East Coast circuits. And if you ever let Sammy go home.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Sammy and I are so close. I feel like, and he knows it, and I'm sure if he hears it, he knows he's like the son I never had.
Okay.
So when we have what I like to call a lively conversation, and it's like I've had enough, I said, Sam, just go to your room.
What was I going to say there? I was going to say something else I was going to say. I can't remember what it was. It was something you said, and I was going to say something.
So if you're going to be at Springfield, you'll have to meet Sam.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. If Sam listen, are you not going to let them? Do you not let them have radio or anything in there? Do you just
let him do whatever? Listen, he's been emailing me about business while you and I and Kelly have been on the podcast.
Okay. Did you tell him you were on the podcast?
Yeah, he knows I was doing it because I wasn't sure when, and I spoke to him yesterday. I didn't speak to him today because I had a couple things going on that I told you about earlier.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And
so
okay. All right. That's it. I think we're done. I think we're finished. So now, Neil, the important part here is in a second we're going to need you to say happy rails to you. Now the key is there's no singing, there's no dancing, there's no interpretation. It's just strictly you say happy rails to you with as much enthusiasm as you can. Do you think you can handle that?
Yeah, I think we can do that for you.
All right. Well, Neil, as we close the barn doors on another episode of A Modeler's Life, and the sun slowly sets in the back 40, I guess there's nothing else left to do except for you to say,
happy rails to you!
While in Busted Knuckle, guests of A Modeler's Life podcast stay at the Casa del Sol Motor Court and Inn, where late-night dancing at the Rumba Room is a magical event to be experienced.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
Wow. That was great.
Might be one of our best ever.
Best. Yeah.
Holy mackerel. Talk about enthusiasm. That's gonna keep Kelly up at night.
Oh yeah, definitely.